Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review for the Eddie Murphy Marathon. This time, the tremendly underrated Metro. I think Metro is one of Eddie Murphy's best films. It's easily one of his most underrated. It'd be in my top 10 favorite Eddie Murphy films. And what's sad is, this is around the time The Nutty Professor was a big hit. Then this came out in January, which was a bad month. And it made zero. It, it made no profit. It was a big box office bomb. And this is why, this is one of his last tries at R-rated humor in the vein of 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop. Critics didn't like it. There were a couple got 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert, surprisingly enough. New York Daily News, Murphy's funnier than ever. There's a couple good reviews, but most critics hated it. Audiences didn't give a shit. Just a 5.5 on IMDb, and I'm like, a 5.5? Really? I don't understand the hate for this film. I don't understand the way this film's been ignored, completely and utterly ignored. I looked on YouTube. There's not a single fucking person on YouTube that's done a review for this film. I looked up on YouTube. There's not a single fucking person that's done a review for this film. That's how forgotten this movie is. Because YouTube, you have millions and millions of people. Many of them do movie reviews. Not a single one has done a review for this film. Do you believe that? It doesn't have a Blu-ray. Hell, The Golden Child doesn't have a Blu-ray. Another 40 Hours doesn't. There's a lot of Eddie Murphy films that don't have Blu-rays. So I have as part of this 2-pack. It was released by Touchstone Home Video. No features except a trailer. Of course, there's a box office bomb, so why would there be features? Well, there have been bombs that have features, so scratch that. The movie has some really good action set pieces, especially a sequence where Eddie Murphy and Michael Rapaport are chasing the bad guy, played by Michael Wincott. The film takes place in San Francisco, and one of those, I forget the exact name, the trolleys. Trolley in San Francisco going down, smashing cars. Eddie Murphy get on, fighting the bad guy. They have to swerve their car in front of the trolley to sort of slow it down. It's not wall-to-wall action, but when it's there, it's well handled. There's a budget behind it. I think this director did a good job. Thomas Carter, this is a guy who went on to do Coach Carter. So he wasn't that familiar with action. I thought he did a fairly solid job. Eddie Murphy, see, this is what he should have done for Beverly Hills Cop 3. I know there's 1 or 2 people that say, well, Matt, you keep saying this Beverly Hills Cop 3, the real one, when really it's more like 48 Hours. I disagree. Because to me, I don't look at this as a buddy movie. Beverly Hills Cop, I know people look at them as buddy movies. Mostly it's actually, I can see where people are coming from, but I never really consider Beverly Hills Cop films as buddy movies, and to me, this isn't a buddy film. There's a little bit of it, but like 48 Hours is the buddies for most of it. I guess that's the best way to put it. And with Beverly Hills Cop 3, the reason I keep mentioning that in the past, Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop 3 wanted a serious, some acting chops, some dramatic, but he took away the wisecracks. He took away the humor. He took away the wise ass of Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop 3. This is that balance he was wanting. You have some intense sequences with him and Michael Wincott having shouting matches. There's a scene where Michael Rapaport's in prison, and by this point, Michael Wincott. Michael Wincott is the villain. Great villain. He does a wonderful job. I like Michael Wincott as an actor. Related to the martial artist Jeff Wincott, actually. Michael Wincott, he was in Alien Resurrection. He's been in other films. He was in The Crow. Again, Michael Wincott, definitely one of the gems of this movie. Fantastic, intense guy. Very worthy villain. Back when they had good villains in action movies. It's a lost art. and he's been arrested, and the character's brother has tried to kill Eddie Murphy's girlfriend. And Eddie Murphy shows a picture of Michael Wincott's, I don't think it was brother, a relative. And they have an intense shouting match between each other. And Eddie Murphy's like, "You're not playing with me, motherfucker. Hey, don't fuck with me, man." Really good acting performance by Eddie. Like, that showed the dramatic stuff he can do, the intensity he can do. That was missing in Beverly Hills Cop 3. But then you still have the wise asses. The beginning where he's going to a crime scene, a crime in progress, and he's listening to a horse race, and he has some gambling on the line, and the horse is named Cozy Girl. She loses, and he's like, "You lazy hag ass bitch! You need the fire under your ass instead of being fucking cozy." And I love the idea. I thought it was a perfect match that he plays a hostage negotiator. This is a guy with his wit, smart, his intelligence. Even the trailer says that. Armed with his mouth, only with his mouth and his intelligence. How about you tell me? That's Axel Foley. That's Axel Foley. Again, to this person who says all this more like 48 hours, or Beverly Hills Cop, he's a cop. Here, he's a cop. So, I disagree with that person who says it's more 40 hours than Beverly Hills Cop. But hostage negotiator, that's a perfect place for Eddie. And he does a great job talking this guy down. This actor named Donald Logue, I've seen him in other stuff. He's one of those guys that you watch. I recognize him. He's been on TV shows and various movies. I believe he was in Blade. I think he was the guy in Blade that kept getting his hand cut off or fucked up. I believe that was Donald Logue. And again, perfect role for Eddie. Natural as a negotiator. Smooth talker, talking this guy down. Really wonderful at his job. He gets a new partner, Michael Rapaport, who is a former sniper. But he's with this other guy, which is an actor named Art Evans. I'm like, I recognize this guy. Oh, he's a guy in Die Hard 2 who's helping John McClane. And there's fun bits of humor throughout it. They get this new truck. Eddie Murphy's like, "Oh, who am I, Red Fox? I don't want this truck." And again, this is more of the successful stunt of Eddie mixing the seriousness with the comedy compared to Beverly Hills Cop. Like, his partner gets stabbed brutally in an elevator, throat slit, and Eddie does a good job performance-wise and wants to get this motherfucker who killed his friend. Like Beverly Hills Cop 3. His friend died, who happened to be a black person, and was also on the police force. Beverly Hills Cop 3, it was his boss, and this, it was his buddy. And Beverly Hills Cop 3 was Inspector Todd. Here's the character played by Art Evans. And wants to get revenge for the death of his friend. But here it was much more successful. Because it didn't take away Eddie's strength. Like Beverly Hills Cop 3, Eddie's like, I don't want to be funny. I don't want to have dads like the fucking gun that plays music and Jerry Lewis and here's, Bronson Pinchot. Ooh, that's it for me. And here's Judge Rhino with the DGJIOC. What the hell is stupid name of his stupid fucking thing he worked at that he controlled. Here, you're still using the wit. You're still using the cursing, which can be an art form. Granted, it could be an art film that gets ruined, but if you use it right, it's art. Richard Pryor knew that. Early Eddie Murphy knew that. Some of Andrew Dice Clay knew that, like Ford Fairlane, and so forth. Like when he's throughout the bits, he's either training Michael Rapaport, or he's trying to get back with his girlfriend, or he's on the case with this killer, Michael Wincott, who his family member is Paul Ben-Victor, who played Moe in the TV movie The Three Stooges, the one that Mel Gibson produced, that was on ABC, I believe. He was also in Daredevil. He's a guy that Ben Affleck fucks up in the subway station, and the guy lands on the subway train track. That's Paul Ben Victor. Again, he's family members of Michael Wincott, our villain. But I was talking about the humor. Like, there's a scene where he's training Michael Rapaport and trains him at this horse track. And they're both arguing. We won, we lost, we won. And he's like, you midget, fuck, you little midget, motherfucker. We won. Hey, it's cool, it's cool. I'm doing a bad job of it, but Eddie pulled it off very well. But again, the humor's mixed in well with the thrills. Like a new hostage situation with Michael Wincott. He's got a mask on, gives a piece of that has an ear in it. And he's like, you mess with me, it's going to be a bigger piece. Again, Michael Wincott, with that voice he has, this is a guy that should have been in a lot more movies. He was in A Long Team of Spider with Morgan Freeman, like I said, Alien Resurrection, The Crow, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He was one of the bad guys working with Alan Rickman. Why a spoon? 'Tis a hurt more. Michael Wincott, I keep praising him because it's. Why is it so tough to have a good fucking intense actor as a villain? I don't understand. I don't get it. It's like a fucking law against having cool villains nowadays. But then things go wrong, and that's where you get the car chase with the trolley and pushing cars out of the way. Eddie Murphy gets on the trolley fight with Michael Wincott, smashing through windows. No CGI, all done for real. Real cars, real trolleys, real stunt people, men and women, putting their lives on the line. Real danger, and it's thrilling. Because it's not fake. It's not phony. It's not something on a fucking computer screen. It doesn't look like a cartoon. It doesn't look like any of that. And I appreciate that. And that's something they do not do nowadays. Very rarely, not many movies do that. It fucking filters and hyper-kinetic editing and $10 budget, so it looks like shit, and everything's fucking green screen. Tired of it. You know, I found it funny when he catches Michael Wincott after this chase, and he's contemplating shooting him. So, I don't know, maybe the gun will go off, maybe we got in a struggle. I'm like, fuck, this guy's more intense in this movie than he was as the bad guy in Vampire in Brooklyn. Like, again, he's scarier, and he's the good guy. In that scene with Michael Wincott, kind of whether he's going to shoot him because he killed his friend, he's scarier in that scene than he was in Vampire in fucking Brooklyn, where he played a fucking vampire. So you can't tell me, like, oh, Eddie was sleepwalking. Quite the opposite. And he got jack shit for it. It bombed so badly, which is why we got this fucking culmination of kids films upon kids films. Just why not? The Night Professor was a big hit, but this was a big bomb. So why would he make more movies, or would the studio give him more movies? Because that was a bomb. So thus we don't see that anymore. That's what pisses me off. So we get to see the fucking Imagine That's and the Norbits, which was a hit. Norbit was a hit, but this film wasn't. The one scene where he's training Michael Rapaport and he's pretending to be a robber. He's like, screw you, man. Fuck you, dude. I can't do it. You can't fucking do it. Then why am I wasting my fucking time with you, man? You piece of fucking fraud shit. Piece of shit asshole. Hey, can you ease up on the language? Like, do you need to be that way? Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to be more realistic. The bits with his girlfriend were fine. I thought the actress did well. I thought they had better chemistry than him and Angela Bassett in fucking Vampire in Brooklyn. I forget the lady's name. But I thought she did fine. They had some nice rapport with each other. Some intense scenes shared between the hero and the villain. Some good acting parts with Eddie. Showed his range. Again, this is what he should have done in Beverly Hills Cop 3. I keep repeating that. That's why I say this is the real Beverly Hills Cop 3. This is what Beverly Hills Cop 3 should have been. This feel, this tone, this humor, this mix of seriousness and comedy. That's what he wanted to do. Now, okay, are there flaws with the film? One, I wish the film had a little bit more action. I will admit, I wish there was a couple more action set pieces. Maybe one or two more hostage negotiation sequences, because I really enjoyed those parts. There's the way Michael Wincott's character escapes from prison is silly. It's too easy. It's too ridiculous. He's just hiding in a fucking clothes rack that's moving. There's a clothes rack moving. He gets in, he hides, and then he escapes. I'm like, way too easy. Way too fucking easy. I mean, come on. A very lazy escape. It's like, come on, really? So, like, that's silly. But I don't really have much problems with it. I like the ending. Granted, the ending kind of reminds me a little bit of James Bond, because the girl's tied up, and the bad guy had this thing rigged, so Eddie has to hold the button, and if he doesn't, this thing will cut his girlfriend in two. And Michael Wincott's like, well, you're in my way, so I guess we're going to have to drive through you. But I thought it was well directed. I thought the practical effects stunt work were extremely well done. The editing wasn't schizophrenic. It wasn't piss poor, in my opinion. Bad guy gets a good comeuppance, getting on the vehicle, they escaping, punching the shit out of him, trapping him in his own truck. Um, nice explosion. And then our hero and his girlfriend in Tahiti. Eddie thinks she bought this thing for her, but he's like, oh man, I wanted you to wear it. Eddie Bruce, that was for me? No, I'm not going to wear that. What if one of my mom's friends here? Oh, look at that little, his name is Roper. Well, Mrs. Roper's son. I see him, he had a street up his ass. Get the fuck out of here. That's like one of the last things he says, and it makes me sad. This is the last time I see that Eddie. Really. Now, granted, there are films I don't mind coming up. I like Bowfinger. I like Showtime. I don't mind Daddy Daycare. I even didn't mind Dreamgirls. I saw that recently. I didn't mind Dreamgirls. But nothing up to this. Nothing of that old Eddie. The last time I saw that old Eddie was truly in this. So to me, there's some films there that are pretty good. A lot of them are pretty fucking bad. Like Imagine That, Beat Dave, fucking Norbit, Haunted Mansion, Holy Man, or like Holy Shit. Dr. Doolittle's, I'm sorry, not a fan of them. I'll get to why next time. And that's the thing, like, what happened? He went to fucking kids filming in. I think the next film he did was Dr. Doolittle. And Night Professor 2, Dr. Doolittle 2. Because those were the films that were big box office hits, so why would he not keep doing them? The studio would be like, no, keep doing this, because these are films that are popular. And I don't understand why, but that's just me. That the Dr. Doolittle films made money, and the Night Professor films made money. They had animal shit, fucking fat jokes upon fat jokes, more animal shit, animal farts, animals having gas, over the top CGI, humor. like in the clumps too. Oh, this old woman. Yes. I prefer this. It's sad this film bombed so badly. It got hated on. It didn't deserve it. It's criminally underrated. It's funny. It's entertaining. Michael Wincott is a very solid villain. Has some good action set pieces. I wish there was more action, I will admit. So that hurt the pacing a little bit because it's almost 2 hours long. And the escape of the bad guy out of prison is pretty ridiculous and pretty damn silly. But, they're nitpicks. Other than that, love the film. Wish it would get a Blu-ray release. It deserves it. But why would it when no one talked about the film? Again, I'm like the only fucking person that reviewed it on YouTube. Go figure. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.